Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Nadeshot and Scump revealing a remarkable story over the last couple of days. Nade revealing that he had to pull off the Heimlich maneuver to potentially prevent a situation getting very bad for the king. And Nadeshot, though, in classic fashion, says, look Scump, I literally saved your life here and you still won't give me 100 gifted. Lots to talk about today. Very much enjoy to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Just to mention, of course, we've got our off-season kind of recap video of the CDL season coming very soon. It's going to be absolutely spectacular, so stay tuned for that one. Let's talk about Rostermania though, because a few names to mention here, and I don't know if these numbers quite do justice to Hook. I mean, these are his numbers, but they feel a little bit harsh on some level, right? But Hook, of course, has been dropped by the Seattle Surge, or as they are now, the Vancouver Surge, or whatever. They've decided to keep aBeZy and to keep 04. Everyone else is gone. Hook is gone. aBeZy is gone. Don't know where aBeZy will go next. Of course, there's the option potentially for him to go to a team like G2 if they can keep Lins, maybe bring Cobra in. That's a possibility there. Hook has always been in an interesting spot though for the last few years, right? Because we know how talented he is on his day, but it's difficult to get that from him all the time, and with Hook you kind of live by the swords, die by the swords. I mean, OpTic fans will certainly remember that for the end of the Modern Warfare 2 season when, you know, that play that he made against New York Subliners when, you know, he let Kismet run through the mid-alley. That definitely lives in the memory, but you're going to get that with Hook, right? You're going to get these natural mistakes that he makes with his playstyle. It is what it is, but on the other side you are going to get a very talented player with some serious upside. It's got to be said, though, the numbers don't really do that justice this season. Although I do think that he was probably better than these cards suggest. I think there was a time at the season where Hook really seemed like the only guy trying on that Seattle Surge. Then they made a couple of changes. They got better, of course, and Hook certainly was a part of that, and he had his moments. But again, he was not exactly the standout player, really. I mean, Hook at times has been the X factor for a team, and maybe that was still true this season. But with aBeZy turning up and with 04 having his moments, certainly in the Search and Destroys, Hook was kind of left to be a little bit of an afterthought in terms of who was the best player on this roster, and that's probably true. And again, you do see this trends where on LAN he's not quite as impactful as online, and we've seen that for many a year at this point from Hook's play. So yeah, tough to say. I still think Hook is one of those SMGs. It's tough to find good SMGs, and you know the upside that Hook has, but again, it's another pretty underwhelming season for, you know, the player who was considered a prodigy right back in Advanced Warfare that we thought might go on to dominate for years to come. Some different Lion Man numbers though come as follows for the likes of HyDra, and you know, this is pretty disgusting. No real surprise. I mean, HyDra started the season well but not spectacular, and he ended the season in, again, ridiculous form. I don't know if he was better at this game compared to last year. I think compared to the opposition he was better at last year's game than this year's game, but he was still ridiculously good at this year's game, and arguably maybe better this year than he was last year. It's just there were other players that were also really good this year. They weren't necessarily at the end of last season, but there's a lot of purple numbers here, and the numbers that are purple are just kind of ludicrous. I mean, 27 is such an insanely high number for kills per 10 minutes in hardpoint on LAN, and it was at 26 over the season. Like 5,000 damage per 10, that's 99 as in best in his category by like quite some way, I'm pretty sure. And of course his hill time and his ticks per round are non-existent, but that's fine because that's not what you're getting HyDra to do, because the numbers that matter in the kills column and in the damage column are basically out of control. Even his Search and Destroy was pretty damn good this year as well. So if Cloud9 are serious, they're not going to let him go, and they're going to do their absolute best, I would say, to try and build a roster around him that can, you know, compete again, because he's already a one-time World Championship winner. But as he said in the interview that he did with ReeaL a couple of months ago, or a few weeks ago now, whenever it's on the Breaking Boy channel, if you guys want to check out the full thing, he wants to have more rings than anyone. The current record is 3 from a few players. He wants 4. If somebody gets to 4, he wants 5. Like, that's how it works. And you only get that many years competing in the Call of Duty League, so HyDra's got to think, well, I've got to try and win another championship next season, and if Cloud9 can't put together a team that's capable of doing that, then he might have to consider his options elsewhere. These were insights numbers, by the way, as well. Started the year incredibly well back at Major 1, didn't really end the year on the same note. His KD is still fine, his hill time is still fine, but in terms of impact, he was a a bit inconsistent this season, and as was Envoy, to be fair, as even was CleanX, to be honest, towards the end of the season. So, you know, all three of those Ultra guys didn't have their best years, I would say. Obviously, Scrappy had one of his best years, but, you know, every year for Scrappy is kind of the same. That guy's ludicrously consistent. But we know that Insight is gone, right? Restricted free agent from the roster. They're unlikely to bring him back, as we currently understand. What other team could look at him? As I say, ARs are in lower demand than SMGs, but Insight for sure will end up somewhere, you would think. As, of course, will Drazah, more than likely staying on FaZe. I just wanted to mention this tweet because they're running some more Black Ops 3 chals, but you know, Vivid was getting involved in this one. It was just a name that kind of came to mind because Vivid, of course, had his stint this season on the Minnesota Rocker, which again he gets let go for reasons that I just don't fully understand why he keeps getting dropped. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me because every team that drops Vivid very, very rarely gets better after doing so. There must be something that he's like, is he a difficult person to team with? I don't really know, but look, he's definitely going to get a spot for next season, right? There's no doubt about it. Getting rid of him for Stanley didn't make sense at the time. It doesn't make sense in hindsight either. And clearly one of the more impactful SMGs in the league. He is going to overheat. He is going to make some mistakes, but I definitely think he can be a part of a very, very good roster. Clay's continuing, of course, to grind the beta, although he did say yesterday that as it stands, it's not exactly guaranteed that he's going to get a spot into the league for next season. Maybe a spot on the desk, of course, is going to open up for him as well. A couple of quick comments here from HyDra I thought were pretty entertaining, actually. Look at some of the stuff that Shotzzy's doing as well here. Like, he tries to completely embarrass this guy, puts a couple of bullets in, it goes for the dive off the top and tries to kill him midair with a pistol. But, I mean, we are going to see some insane kills this year in the CDL because I've seen some insane kills from the pros and also onto the pros. Sometimes that's even the more insane kills is when the pros get slammed by someone. And, well, there's an example here, I think, actually, of HyDra in a second. So, yeah, here we are on Skyline. And, you know, HyDra gets completely cooked by this guy. Channing around the corner. The guy hits a nasty little quick dive and then just spins on his back and guns him with the jackal. Like, I mean, it's pretty insane stuff. We are going to see this a lot. And this is only the beta, right? I mean, I remember when the Jetpack games came out, every month it felt like people's movement was getting better and better because people were just getting used to it. And it's the same thing here. Like, it's a brand new movement concept. The strategy, the meta, what people are going to be using is kind of out of control. And HyDra gets completely tucked into bed. And I'm sure that he's going to tuck plenty of people into bed doing exactly the same thing this season. But if it can happen to HyDra, if it can happen to Cell, as we saw at COD Next, then it can happen to anyone. So, like, it's pretty funny as well, HyDra turning the stream on. It's good to see this, actually. Really good to see this, because HyDra's actually a very entertaining personality and player. He's never been so into the streaming shenanigans. Like, he's wanted just to, you know, keep himself to himself, play his game, and all this type of stuff. But, yeah, HyDra turns the stream on, and Dashy's like, you're a streamer now? Bro found the money glitch. Bro streamed once, look at his analytics, and said, let's run this up. So, yeah, it seems like HyDra's going to stream often, which is just good for everyone, right? It's the same with Cellium. Like, Cellium's a very entertaining personality too. It's good when we get to see a little bit more of it. But let's talk about this Nadeshot and Scump situation here, right? So they're at some sort of dinner, right, with TP and a few others, and Scump was having this, like, steak fajita thing, and clearly nommed it down a bit too quick. And it ends up getting either stuck somewhere or, well, I don't know. It's an interesting explanation that these guys go through, but I just wanted to share this because, like, super, like, concerning and scary stuff. But as always, Nadeshot making light of the situation.
So I'm eating this thing. I step into the other room, and I'm drinking a little beer. So I'm eating this thing, and it goes down, right? It goes down. I swallow it, but then it, like, clumped up in my chest. Ew. So I'm like, oh shit. So that's when I start walking back. Whenever I'm like, oh shit, I might actually choke on this fucking fajita right here. So that's when I start walking back into the room. As I, like, start stepping back into the room, I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually choking. I was legitimately choking. I fucking
could
let
not
out
breathe.
Like
no air.
Couldn't breathe at all. I let out like I literally could not breathe.
No noise coming out of his mouth.
But let me also set the story up a little bit better. So these steak quesadillas or steak fajitas were cold and they were chewy as shit. So I'm like, I don't really chew it as well as I probably should have. I was so hungry, so I'm just ripping that shit, right?
Profusely. I fucking rip into
Okay,
his
whoa, whoa,
diaphragm.
whoa.
What? I mean,
profusely. It was like
I
foam.
rip into
It was
his
like
diaphragm.
it was like foam.
I
punch a hole in
legitimately
his chest
cleaned
and
up
pull
your
it out?
fucking throw up with your wife,
Yeah,
Seth. I can tell
you
you what it
didn't-
is. It looked like dog
You
food.
didn't have
was-
to do that.
All right.
Wait, so
I
wait,
did
wait,
do
wait.
that. What are you talking about?
Wait. So it came up or it went down? I thought it went down.
What do you mean it came up or
The
it went
steak,
down?
the steak.
All of it came up and out, bro. It was beer,
Oh.
steak. We got, you were choking, and after 2 Heimlichs, it actually worked, and everything came out. But I keep doing it because he's not saying anything. He's not making any noise still besides that throw up. As soon as the throw up came out, I'm like, thank God. All of a sudden, Izzy beelines and runs over because everybody's still kind of talking to each other. Nobody realized what's going on. As soon as Izzy finds out his wife, she sprints over and just starts fucking wailing on his back.
She started punching me.
She's like, call 911, call 911, starts hitting him. And I do
Dude,
it
she
like
started dead ass like punching me.
4 or 5 more times, still not saying anything. I'm like, am I not strong enough to actually get, is he still choking? In that moment, I thought like, holy shit, he could actually die. So I see TP, I'm like, yo, you're bigger than me, just start doing it. He gave him like 2, and then all of a sudden, Seth, we hear him breathing, he starts talking. But
Yo, it was crazy though. It was like it was no bullshit. The most adrenaline. Dude, it was like the weirdest feeling ever because I've never choked on anything before. Pause. I know.
Nadeshot saved your life.
I knew it was
After
coming.
almost killing him
I'll take 100.
After
please.
by
almost-
serving
I'll take
by serving the cold food.
Seth took too much meat.
Hold on,
and Nadeshot had to come
Sam.
give him
Hold
back
on.
shots.
He was about to say something. Let's hear it.
Yo, you're crazy. Matt did save my life. Is actually looked at me yesterday.
I was just telling my chat, it's a terrible thing to say and think, but I genuinely, I did think I was going to get more subs for saving that man's
Brother,
life,
not
but it is what
anybody
it is.
but him would give you 100, man. He's just a specimen, brother. You got to really
Bro, even during
you saved the
September
wrong,
when it's
you
discounted,
saved the wrong guy, brother.
fuck me, bro. If I would have saved Hector, I think he would have given me like half of his net
Hector would
worth.
have gave you a car.
Yo, Hector. Ooh, you look good. Yo, Hector. I legitimately, and Seth said it out loud on stream that I saved his life, but the guy only gifted me 25 subs. Like, can I get something from OpTic? I know if I would have saved your life, you would have given me like half your net worth, but what's going on here?
At the very least, he only gave you 25 gifted for saving his life.
And it's September, bro. It's discounted.
If that is not the most scump thing I have ever heard of, I don't know what is.
My wife didn't even give me top last night either.
Jesus
Okay, dude,
Christ.
relax.
Yo, what did I just come
Too
back
far.
to?
What? What did I say? Do
What did I just come back to?
No, it's in my wallet. My wife just asked me for my credit card.
Oh my God! So she heard you say what you just said. Come on, man.
I know. OpTic's
Wait,
got to
is
have
that
a slush
fucking Hector?
fund. Yeah, I'm on the phone with
Yeah,
Hector.
he's got him on
because
speaker. He's asking him for subs on your behalf.
There's got to
right
be
now.
like an OpTic slush fund for
course.
saving the golden child. Like,
Of course, it's on its way.
okay,
It's on its
bet,
way.
bet. All right.
Oh my
Thanks,
God,
man.
of course, bro.
So great news that Scump's okay, because that sounds pretty scary. Like, I'm not like a paramedic or a doctor or anything. I'm sure there's some of you guys in the comments who can kind of give your perspective on this one. But the fact that Scump was like choking, but kind of he couldn't breathe, but yet he doesn't even remember that he actually threw up or whatever. And even after Nadeshot, executed a Heimlich maneuver in order to get what the blockage out of his system, basically, he was still like not even responsive for a little while longer. Like, I don't know, that's pretty scary stuff, not gonna lie. So thankfully Scump is safe, and I just thought this whole thing was hilarious, right, that it's September, whatever they call it, and Scump gonna come into Nadeshot's chat and dropped him, a few hundred or whatever for saving his life, but no, Scump comes in and drops 25. But look, at the end of the day, it's obviously good that Scump's okay, but it does just, it does pay to be careful, doesn't it? And then of course Nade's on the phone to Hex to try and get some of the slush fund for saving the golden child. So, I just thought this whole saga was absolutely hilarious, to be honest. But, thankfully, it's hilarious because everyone's okay, right? If everyone was not okay, then it would be obviously a rather different story. But very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Just one final interesting stat to mention here from Simp and aBeZy. They've appeared in more than a half or more grand finals in 5 different seasons, which is pretty ridiculous, actually. So let's say you've got 6 events in a season. If you make the finals in 3 or more of them, then you count for this list. Crim6 did that in Black Ops 2 Ghost Advanced Warfare BR. Year 3 Infinite Warfare in 2019. Maybe even more impressive on the seasons that had more events. Like, let's say there were like 14 events in a season. You know, to be in the grand finals of like, let's say 7 or 8 of those is a pretty good accomplishment. But, you know, Simp and aBeZy have done it 5 times and are pretty likely to take this record at some point. I mean, they did it this year. They didn't actually do it last year, interestingly enough. But I'm going forward in Black Ops 4, you'd imagine that their record, certainly in the CDL era for doing this, is not all that bad. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.